When you were a child, what sort of fantastic dreams did you have? Did you want to be a successful doctor, a planet-hopping astronaut, or a record-breaking athlete, or a scientist maybe, who was going to save the world? Or maybe you wanted a piece of the good life with a mansion on every continent and a ton of green in the bank. Well, what happened to those dreams? I'll tell you what happened. You grew up. You started living in the real world. Your teachers told you to stop daydreaming. Your parents probably told you to be realistic, get a steady job, a pension, and a mortgage. Before you knew it, your childhood dreams had vanished into thin air. But what if? What if there was an alternative you who could turn all those dreams into reality? Scientists have long speculated there are alternative universes with alternative yous doing everything you wished you could be. A version of you as a billionaire maybe, or a lifesaver, or an inventor. Now imagine you could talk to those versions of you. What would you ask them? What would you want to learn? How do you think they found their success? Maybe this is the inspiration that could get you out of the rut you've been stuck in for years. What if you could speak to the fitter, the sexier version of you in another universe? Do you think you'll be able to shake off those extra pounds you've been carrying around? Or what if you could meet the Casanova version of you? Do you think you'll be able to meet your perfect partner even if you've never been lucky in love? You'll certainly be able to have more fun. And how do you think your life might change? Is it even possible? I'm going to share a story of how I achieved what I wanted and the secret that might surprise you. So in 2009, I had a major stroke and I've discovered amazing things about the human brain since then. Things that can change your life just the same as they changed mine. Through this all, I remember that the brain can be molded and changed at any point. It's called brain plasticity and it's incredible. It's the thing that allowed me to survive my stroke. So when you say to someone, I changed my mind, this can actually literally be physically true. So if you want a new level of happiness in your life, then all you have to do is truly believe it and then change your mind and think it. The trouble is we so often find ourselves saying, I'll be happy when, and then fill in the blank. So I'll be happy when I lose 10 pounds, or when I get a new job, when I start a new business, when I buy that house, when I sell that house, when I move to the coast and start living by the sea, when I get a boyfriend, when I get a divorce, when I buy a new car, when I buy a new camper van. Often when you set about achieving the thing you want, it starts off well, but after a short time you can get really distracted and fail. But why? You see, mindset matters and it's no joke. I've helped thousands of people launch businesses across 18 different countries, and without doubt, most of them have had pushback from their brain and their mindset. And most often it's from their primitive monkey or reptilian brain that really leads them to put the brakes on whatever they're doing. This is the part of the brain that helps them feel safe. But the trouble is, it stops them from doing things that could help them grow. So often the closer they got to achieving what they wanted, or the more real their dreams became, the more their brain tried to keep them safe and lock them down. But let's say you managed to ignore your prehistoric hardwiring and instead changed anyway. Change the way your brain is wired. Each day achieving amazing things. Well, the next hurdle, of course, is Quitter's Day. So this is amazing and it's actually backed up with research. So 20 days into any new routine, there is something called Quitter's Day. It's what gyms use as the basis for their business model. This is because they know new members will quit soon after they join, but they'll still be paying their membership. So gyms oversubscribe at high demand times like New Year and Christmas, when people are trying to start new diets and a new start to their life, because they know people will soon be ditching their fitness routine but will hang on to their membership just in case. It's cheeky, right? So the running app called Strava researched this from 800 million pieces of logged activity and figured out that Quitter's Day was 20 days in. I don't want this for you. I want you to take steps towards your success, whatever that looks like for you, so you can bust through that Quitter's Day and not do what the rest of us are doing. Taking the same steps and trying to avoid quitting, whatever that looks like for you, is how you're going to lose that weight or run that marathon or set up that business you've been hankering for, or even to change your life and move to the beach. Anytime you make a change, know that Quitter's Day is just around the corner, and it's a battle that we're all facing, especially as your cautious brain keeps telling you to stay safe by not venturing outside your comfort zone. The decision to keep going just feels too much. And on top of that, we only have a limited brain capacity to make a certain amount of decisions a day. That includes making decisions about, what am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have for breakfast? Am I going to go to the beach? Am I going to go for a run? All of these go into our decision-making process. Why do you think Mark Zuckerberg wears the same color t-shirt and jeans most days? It's so he saves one decision which he can then apply to his business. Managing change and getting what you want out of life takes a lot of energy. You have to make decisions, and this is when you only have a certain number of decisions every day. You have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to rewire your brain and stay motivated while your primitive brain is constantly trying to pull you back and keep you safe. You also have to navigate against the tide through Quitter's Day, and the added thing is dealing with catastrophic thinking. What the hell is catastrophic thinking, I hear you ask? Let me explain. You see, often we're looking for results, but they don't come as quickly as we hope. So let's apply this to a normal situation in everyday life, something that many of us struggle with, especially people my age. So let's apply it to shifting a few pounds. So weeks 1 and 2 bring a few small shifts, and that's great, but everything starts slowing down by week 3. Then all the hard work about following those recipes and doing that exercise all seems like just a little bit too much hassle. Maybe you were doing it with a friend and you can tell they're about to quit. It's almost Quitter's Day after all. And your motivation starts to wane. Maybe you managed to shift a few pounds, but start fearing that all your efforts in weeks 1 and 2 were just fluke and couldn't possibly be duplicated. Suddenly you forget about all the progress you've made and fall off the wagon and get a bout of catastrophic thinking. So after all the days of making those good choices, now when you see the chocolate cake, you might take a small piece because you deserve it after all. You've been so good recently. Then after you eat it, you start thinking, well, now that I've eaten it, I may as well just eat a whole slice. You know what I'm talking about. And yes, I'm speaking from experience. The same happens with wanting to make a change. We get an idea, we get all fired up, we start full of enthusiasm, and then reality kicks in. We want to run before we can walk, wishing and hoping before we put all the pieces in place. Progress doesn't come as quickly as we hope, people aren't reacting to your ideas in the same way as you hoped, and the tough days are just, well, tough. Then catastrophic thinking sets in, and you start asking yourself, what if I can't make this work? What if I can't get what I want? What if no one wants to help me? What if it's just all a bit too hard? But of course it's going to be hard. If it wasn't, then everyone would be doing it. And just because it's hard doesn't mean you can't do it. Catastrophic thinking is a rough deal, as in that place it's very difficult to ignore the naysayers, the limiting beliefs and the imposter syndrome. With most of that coming from inside you, you just can't escape. It's in your head, it's in your belief system. It makes it very difficult to stop listening to, and the voices of doom just all kick in. We all suffer from it, no matter how successful people think we are. Personally, I've found that instead of focusing on what I want, I think about how it's going to positively impact other people. And then that really helps to shift my energy because I'm not thinking about myself anymore. I'm just thinking about others. So for a diet, I might say, I want to lose more weight because that will help me be happy, and that will make my family happy because they'll see me happy. And I'll be around for a few more years in good health to support them. And of course, that's going to make me even more happy because I'm there for them. Because actually in our lives, it's not about necessarily extending our lives. It's just about having a good life while we're alive. And in my business, instead of me saying I want more money or more customers, I say I want to help more people to have success, making a living doing something they love. Because what we need in this world is more people doing stuff that they love. So I stopped being motivated about me and what I want, and I put myself in the shoes of others and think about what they want and need. I realize I can help them get what they want and they can pass that on to others, to pass it forward. And then there's that lovely ripple effect. So this approach for me helps me get off that hamster wheel of catastrophic thinking and stops the negativity in its tracks. If I can see the bigger picture and say, but this is not just about me, then everything changes. It's like I can shut out the thinking that says I'm not worth it, I don't deserve it, and who am I to think I can do this? Who do I think I am? This is imposter syndrome, and I've done a video on that too, and if I finished it, it will be here. So click on it and enjoy the next episode of Real Life by the Sea.